Hey guys, welcome to a Down and Dirty Modding quick tip. I was sitting here putting the gunslinger back together with some rivets, and I thought this would be a good time to cover riveting cases back together. Now, I'm using it because there's some spots I can't actually get nuts and screws in on, so rivets are really my only option. But rivets are a quick and easy way of sticking things together that you don't want to take back apart often. Normally I try to screw things back together to allow me access. Definitely on stuff that's going to be accessed a lot. Now, permanent parts like the frame of your case and handles, a lot of times you don't have to pull those off a lot, so rivets aren't a bad deal. And when I'm talking rivets, these are pop rivets. Basically just a bit of aluminum on a steel pin with a head, and that the rivet gun will grab that pin and squeeze that head back into that aluminum and expand it into a ball, and that traps metal in between it and holds it tight. So rivet, we've got a rivet gun, and I'm going to go ahead and pop one of these rivets in. Pop rivet. Basically really easy to use. You stick it in a hole. And this one doesn't want to go because it's a little off. I need a screwdriver. Sometimes you have to use something like a screwdriver or an awl to kind of square up, line up your holes a little better. Hopefully that helped. And it should just slide in. Now with rivets, there are a bunch of different sizes. Cases tend to be 1/8 inch diameter, and I can't remember the thickness, but I did get these at MNPC Tech, so Bill carries the right thickness for most cases. It's not a very thick and long rivet. So slide it into the hole, you'll have that pin sticking out, and then basically you slide your gun onto it. Now when we get to this point, squeezing the handle will pull that pin and break it as soon as it gets tight. We want to be careful that while we're doing that, we're providing a little bit of back pressure, pulling back on that gun a little bit, and maybe even sticking our hand between the gun and the case, because what will happen is when that pin breaks, the gun tends to jerk, and you don't want to have any pressure going towards the case, because that jerk a lot of times will lead you to gouging the paint job on the case with the gun. And usually when you're putting rivets in, you're past the point of wanting to deal with paint anymore. So always when you're squeezing it, give it a little bit of back pressure so that whenever it breaks and pops, you're going to be pulling back. So we're going to try this one. And it may take a squeeze and a half sometimes. It just depends on how much metal you've got that you're riveting together. There we go, pulled back on it. Like I said, if we'd have been pressing into it, we would have definitely gouged the paint on that, and that would have been horrible because we don't want to paint anything anymore. You'll be left with the pin. That can just go in the trash. Rivets are fairly simple, easy to use, fast. Like I say, if it's something that you're going to want to take apart later, don't use a rivet because you'll wind up having to drill it back out, and it's a pain because you'll have to, cover your hardware up or pull it out so it doesn't get damaged and doesn't get stuff knocked into it from the drilling. So hopefully that helps if you're sticking a case together and you're curious about using rivets. And I guess that's all I've got, so I will talk to you all later.